Santino.
This Friday.
Oh my goodness. Whole crotch. This is way too much.
All truths
I just can't believe Brendan Schaub would do that to you.
will be revealed. Scissor Bros, Episode 5.
Welcome back to another episode of the Steebee Weebee Show. We have a very special guest tonight. This is a historical one, folks. My first guest, I grew up with the guy since childhood, okay? Please welcome for the first time on the show, artist Scott Hattox. What's up, my man? Wow. A sight for sore eyes. My first childhood. We grew up, like we legit grew up together.
We did.
Since when? Elementary school?
Elementary school, Painted Rock.
And not only that, I remember, didn't you have a launch ramp in your driveway?
I did. Everyone congregated.
Yeah. And so, who was your third grade teacher?
Oh, man.
I had Mrs. Self.
Yeah, Mrs. Self. I think I had her, but I was held back in third
But,
grade.
you know, she was a looker. She was a looker.
She totally was.
That was the first time. I never told anyone this, but my first masturbation experience is because of her.
Self.
Yeah, because me and Anthony were in her class, and we did our book report, whatever.
Yeah.
And she leaned over.
In her blouse?
Yeah, I saw her breasts,
Uh-huh.
and I ran home. I ran home, and nothing came out. But yeah, but you know, she was dating he was on the faculty for sports at Poway High. You know, like
Mr.
Mr. Self was he was like Brandstetter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then, dude, even back then, I have to let everyone know, like, since I grew up with you, you had no problem with the ladies.
No, I did not.
Do you remember Round Table Pizza?
I do remember Round Table
in
Pizza.
Rancho Bernardo?
I do. It's still there.
It is?
Uh-huh.
So shout out to the Pedrati, AJ Pedrati and his family. Am I saying it right?
AJ Pedrati? I don't know if they still own it, but
But they did.
they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
so shout out to AJ. But I remember even before high school, I was there with you. This may be 6th or 7th grade, and it was like watching a movie. It had to do. You were there, I was there, and Tracy Sigismonti was there. I just remember. I had no, you guys all had hit puberty before I did, but I remember you were like, you were just the lady. I'm like, dude, this is Scott's girl, or do you remember that?
I remember that.
You don't remember that night?
There were a lot of nights, bro. I lost my virginity outside your house.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, dude.
Not my house.
Outside your house in a
Carrie
car.
Reading?
No, you remember Jimmy Gassetti, Joanne, you and I went to a mall. And
North County Fair?
The North County Fair. We didn't have a ride home. Do you remember this?
And
this guy, I went. And they said, "You ask that girl. She has keys." And I went up to that girl and I said, "Hey, do you have a car? Can we get a ride home?" And she gave us all a ride home. And I called her up that night, and she came over and picked me up, and I had nowhere to go, so we went over to outside your house.
Ranch Hollow? How come you never told me that?
Dude, I did. I called you. I called you that night.
Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
You know that house was haunted. Like I learned later.
It was?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was an
dude.
uncomfortable house, bro.
It was It was because it was built on a burial ground, Indian burial. Dude, I almost got possessed.
Really?
Yeah, I basically they held me down. The spirits. They were whispering in my ear, holding me. Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah. And
Dang.
do you remember how I was a Bible thumper?
Oh, totally.
And I had Bible verses in my room.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, dude. This
You
was
and Glenn Aranis go around.
Yeah, he got the girls too, didn't he?
Yeah, I did.
You know, I ran into Glenn a few years back. Do you know him, Jimmy Gussetti, and Joe On? They're like businessmen.
They are like businessmen, family men.
Yeah.
And they all like started with Jimmy's stepdad's company, and they just stuck with it, and then they
Dude,
built it up.
It was his mom, though. I remember in high school,
Mhm.
they never included me because I was always cutting. I don't know why. But I remember going to Jimmy's, and then he would be like, the mom was like prepping him for this business venture.
Yeah.
But back then, I'm like, do you remember his red Jeep? His red Bronco?
Yeah.
Were you there when we almost died? And
Oh yeah.
on,
Oh yeah. I tried to pull it out with the white Blazer I was driving. We tried
You
to
were
chain
there?
that. Yeah. We drove down, and we actually met you guys down.
Wait,
We were
explain the story. Okay, so we were taking the Bronco up near Poway Lake, or
behind Poway
on
Lake,
the back
Blue
roads?
Sky Ranch.
Okay, back roads.
Right, back roads. And we, I wasn't in the car with you guys. You and Anthony and Jimmy were in that car, and I was following you guys. And all of a sudden, we just came up like into this like dust cloud. And Jimmy had ran like off a cliff into
Yeah.
like a ditch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then we tried to pull it out with my truck, and I remember we had to call like a tow and get it out of there. It was a mess,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
What a fun day.
You know what? Now that this is like a historical episode because knowing I have the deepest history with like I knew you as like we were kids.
Yeah.
Do you remember in high school? There was a hill near Joe On's, and we would all smoke weed and drink 40s up there.
Oh,
We
little
called it
Mickey's. Yeah. Cypress Hill. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally remember
Okay,
that.
I remember one day. Didn't you drive like a Bronco or like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
kind of SUV?
yeah,
Okay, it was
yeah.
your car.
Yeah.
We were doing dirt. We weren't being good kids up there. We're doing
No.
something. We were either about to smoke a joint, about to drink beer.
Yeah.
We're about to do something.
Yeah.
Cop rolls up. You might not remember. I'm gonna refresh your memory.
Sure, go ahead.
You saved our asses in a major way because we were all up there. We all had weed or beer or something. Cop rolls up.
Oh!
Hold up. Cop rolls up. You and Danny Wood or someone else instinctively had a lacrosse stick, and you acted as if we were playing lacrosse up there. And I'm like, that was genius because when the cop rolled up, he was probably thinking, "Oh, these kids are just." They're just doing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I remember that, and that was your guys' senior year, I think. And I was back in town from I left the state and I went to a boarding school, and I happened to have I happened to have that lacrosse stick with me
Yeah.
from going back east. Whatever.
Yeah.
Long story there.
Did you go to this? You went to Twin Peaks, so too, right?
Twin Peaks, yeah, Rams. Yeah.
See, you know, unfortunately, I got more girls and stuff in middle school. I got nothing in high school. I got zilch.
Nothing in high school, huh?
Nothing. And they wrote in my yearbook my senior year. I knew that's why everyone knew. Because in my senior in the yearbook,
did not.
in the yearbook, all the girls were like, you know, the best of luck. Hopefully you'll get girls in college. You know, they knew.
Dang.
And Reed, shout out to Reed Whitmont.
Whitmont.
Shout out to the Whitmonts.
Yeah, the Whitmont family.
Brad, Reed, and Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was like second family to
That's
me
right.
in Summerfield. You remember that community?
I do.
But Reed was always concerned about me because he went to visit. Came to visit me at ASU. You went to U of A, didn't you?
Yeah,
I want to get to that too.
Yep.
But a couple people visited me my first year at ASU. Anthony,
Oh, he did.
Reed,
Oh,
a couple other ones. But even because I didn't lose my virginity till late, maybe second year of college.
really?
And he looked at me. He goes, "You're getting girls, right?" he's like, Steve, look
He's
at
always
me.
good.
Look
He's
at me.
al-
Steve,
Look at
Steve,
me.
Steve. You're getting laid, right? Steve, you're getting laid, right? You okay? You okay on this campus? But I lied to him because I
did.
was so ashamed because I wasn't. I wasn't
You're
getting.
so ashamed.
I wasn't getting girls.
Oh yeah, bro.
And so,
yeah.
I was looking at him. I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, but like, penetrate, like you're getting with. Like,
He was
penetrate.
deep like
yeah,
that.
he was deep.
He'd get into that.
But because Reed's like my brother. I mean, the Whitmonts were like, those are like my brother. Dude, do you know how many like
Yeah.
sleepovers I did
Yeah.
in Summerfield?
Yeah. Reed was
Shout
like
out
a
to
punk.
Anthony too.
Anthony
Shout out
Lee.
to Anthony. Do you know one? He spent the night several times. I didn't know this, but this is how slick he was. Most of the time, I'd wake up in the morning and he was nowhere to be found. I go, where the hell? Where is he? Because I'd set up a sleeping bag.
Yeah. I spent the
And
night
then-
there.
What?
I've spent the night
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I've slept in your room. Yeah, I know the
yeah.
routine.
So, but then I'm like, where could he be? Huh. And then I like run outside. I go on the next street over, not on the Chris Bender. You remember the
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
Bender.
up the street. Yeah,
It was the other street
yeah,
near Carrie Reading.
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
he was
Oh.
walking in the morning. He was walking over the hill from Carrie's. So it dawned on me like
They were slick, bro. Nobody knew that. I didn't know that. I mean, not that I would, but he was always slick. Anthony had his
how many
shit
he had
tight and tight down, man.
He was. I mean, he must have read books. I don't know how he got so
It's his
slick.
brothers,
I mean,
man. His brothers.
You're right, Dudley.
Chris and Dudley,
Chris
man.
and Dudley.
Chris was smooth. Still is, dude.
I
Driving that
rem- I
Pantera, remember that?
Oh yeah, but I remember even in high school we would be doing like practicing dance moves, and then Chris would be in there. He had like a fine Latina girl, and I'm like, oh, you're.
You remember her?
Do you remember? Do
Dude!
you remember her?
Dude, yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Oh, you remember?
Oh
her?
yeah, the short girl, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
she'd be coming
fine.
out of his room because you remember how Anthony's house was.
Yeah,
set up.
there were
The bedrooms are close. It was
closer,
like
yeah.
bathroom, like his room, Anthony's room, bathroom was right around the corner. Yeah, but then I'm like, they all get girls.
They all do. They all do.
Yeah. I've said this a lot, and I think people like always say, "Oh, bullshit," but I always plug Blink 182 and Tom.
You should.
I reached out to Tom hundreds of times with no answer back. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Rich
Sup,
Salo.
Tom?
Shout out to Dan Rogers.
Yeah.
But what was your experience? We're gonna get your art, by the way. You have
It's all good,
beautiful
man.
art here.
Thank you.
What was your experience growing up with Tom, and then Tom doing Blink?
So
And then I'll share my story.
So this is real. I mean, I've told people this, and people
We grew up with
We
Tom.
grew up with Tom. Like Twin Peaks. He went to Twin Peaks with us.
Yeah.
And we went to high school with them, and Tom was just a kind of a tall nerd, bro. Like
Skater though.
skater,
He
tall
could
nerd.
kickflip back then. I remember I was
And
tripping.
he's
I'm
a
like,
g-
oh.
I mean, just a good dude. And like, I mean, he would walk through the mall or the quad at Poway High.
he was homecoming king. Do you remember?
He was not.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that.
Oh, you weren't there.
No.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tom not only became a rock star,
What?
not only became he legit rock star. Right?
Yeah. Oh,
Like, I mean,
legit.
like
Oh
touring
yeah.
the wor-
Oh yeah.
MTV.
Yeah.
But even in high school, and you weren't around for this either. Remember, like Bridalwood.
Yeah. I remember Bridal.
There'd be keggers or whatever.
Willie
Whatever, old
Ruples.
coach or
Willie
whatever.
Ruples, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He would be his band would be performing. Everyone would be ignoring it. But continue.
Yeah. So I mean, he was awkward when I knew him, but he was still always a good friend of ours. And he would go to the bourgeois for the bourgeois Christmas
God,
parties.
You know I got love for the bourgeois.
Yeah, you do.
I mean,
yeah.
the one time I had any kind of girl experience, it was that Vietnamese girl from Ramona, Nooksy. So shout out to Nooksy.
Brother Nooksy.
Yeah. Nooksy hooked it up.
Nooksy.
Nooksy hooked it up. We went to
Aw.
the beach, bonfire, and he
Aw.
lined it up for me.
He did not.
But that was like my senior. It was too late by then.
it's too
And,
late.
it was just like a make-out session or whatever. Yeah, but so
for
Bourgeois,
you.
Steve Bourgeois, this
Yep.
house in high school
Oh, it was
his parents were. His mom was never around.
no
It was the party house.
party house in the trails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the place to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was our second home. Either Nooksy lived there, dude. He
I
lived
know,
on the
I
bottom
know. So
floor.
the way the house was set up, you know, you had the upstairs, but the downstairs had a pool table, guest room,
Yep.
bar area,
Yep.
and it was literally like our bar or like
Our place. It was our place.
Like our, you know.
That's where we all met up. Anyone was going to be doing anything, that's where we met up. Let's just meet up at Bourgeois' house. We'll figure it out, whatever
And
it
then,
is.
you know, you'd show up and Glenn would already be drinking a Mickey's 40.
Sure, you bet.
Do you remember that night he beat up Kyle Cachel?
He beat up a few people. He had some anger issues. He punched in walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Glenn was, you know,
Shout
back
out,
then,
Glenn.
you know, he was a
Love you,
Filipino
bro.
dude. Love you, Glenn. But back then, even back then, he was pretty, he was pretty yoked. But I remember we were playing pool. You know, Kyle was a class under us. He was a junior. He was a surfer dude.
Yeah.
But he was flapping his mouth, and I just remember Glenn, all four walls he slammed him on. Boom. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it was like a movie, dude. He was like, boom, boom, boom. And then he had him on top of the pool table.
Scary.
And I was just like, whoa, Glenn's like, that was a loyal friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you left, you didn't go to Abraxas, did you?
No, I went to a prep school in Connecticut. Like, I disappeared. I ghosted you guys. Like one night, you guys were, I swear to God, I remember the moment. That was like, I was leaving the next day, and everyone was at Round Table Pizza hacky sacking in the back. For some reason, hacky sack was a thing. And
Steve
you guys
was so good at that.
And everyone was in the back of Round Table at that back parking lot, hacky sacking. I was like, peace out, I'm gone, and took off. And I was, and I'd come back for my breaks and stuff and meet up with you guys. But
that was such a, you know, like if you look at any like movie from the 80s, like the Plaza for us was like it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I just remember that Save On.
Yeah.
Do you remember Yogurt Mill?
Oh, yeah.
Yogurt Mill. Do you remember
Denny's.
Miller's Outpost?
Oh, I do remember Miller's Outpost.
Describe what's Miller. What was
Miller's Outpost. It's the only place.
This is going back to 1980. Hold up. This is going back to 1982.
All right. So Miller's Outpost was before they had like malls. Like we didn't have the North County Fair or anything.
No.
So the only place you could go to get your school gear and everyone went there, was Miller's Outpost.
You get your Jimmy Z's there, your Panama Jack t-shirts.
Yeah, everything.
Your Rip Curl.
Gotchas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they had this is monumental. They had one of the first Ben and Jerry's.
Oh, they did.
Right near Round Table.
They did on the end.
Yeah, but I love Round Table because this is before gaming consoles, but there was an arcade.
There was. I think there still is.
But they
I
had
think they
Street
still have
Fighter.
I think they still have Mortal Kombat in
But I
there.
remember Street Fighter.
Dude, bro, you guys in Street Fighter, you and Joe On and like John Lee
Cruz,
and
Joe Cruz.
Joe Cruz, damn.
Do you remember he organized a tournament?
What?
At that, it was an arcade near,
up on the hill by RB High.
by RB High.
Yeah, they had a long row. I'd always go in there. You guys would just be in there playing. I'm like, what is this, dude?
You remember that?
Yeah.
Wasn't there an Italian restaurant?
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, right. It's still there.
Yeah.
Dude, I delivered pizzas for them for a little while.
Oh, we used to hang out there all the time.
Oh.
God, what was that name of it? It was right by RBI.
The Grazianos?
Grazianos, yeah.
Shit.
Do you remember my cousin Eddie? Shout out to my cousin Eddie.
What's up, Cousin Eddie? I don't
He
know.
was a class behind us.
I don't know if
But
I
he
met him.
remembers you.
Does he?
Because I said, yeah, Scotty.
Oh, I'm sure I remember him if I saw him.
Yeah, but even after we like when I was cutting weight, like all the homies, like everyone looked out for him. Like no one would fuck with Eddie.
God, nice.
Yeah, but
That's cool.
so we graduated and then we linked up later. I went to Arizona State. You went to University of Arizona.
Yes.
I remember being at my dorm and you were waiting for me for hours in the lobby. Do you remember that?
I remember that. I remember going up there. It was Halloween. And we went to some Halloween parties up there.
Yeah.
And we were just so out of place.
And I remember visiting you. You were nowhere to be found one time. I don't think I was coming announced, but I was there. I'm like,
were you with Sean Navarro coming down? Or just
no,
you?
I was with my skateboarding homies.
Sorry, you were skateboarding when you came down. Yeah.
So, but then I actually remember like going to your dorm room, but you were like probably with some girl. I don't know where you were.
Who knows, man?
What was that experience at U of A like?
U of A was just a whirlwind. I lasted 1 year there, and they kicked me out. That was it.
What?
Yeah. Dude, I joined a fraternity. I
Which
just
one?
partied. Delta Chi. No
Party-
shout out to Delta Chi. I didn't
Wait.
go. I didn't end up staying with them. You know.
Yeah, parties.
Yeah, parties. Just parties.
Just mad. Do you remember those? I mean, like at
Yeah,
AC,
yeah.
it was just like
Yeah.
like trash cans full of
Yes.
Keystone.
Yeah,
just
dude,
beer,
whatever.
beer.
Yeah, just the parties at like the university level are just on a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just is.
Now, did you like? What'd you do after? Like, did you live out there in Tucson? Like,
Yeah, so I stayed there. Well, I came back to San Diego and went to Palomar.
Oh, shout out to Palomar.
Yeah, Palomar.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
brother went there.
Yeah, a lot of people went there.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did a few years there, and then went back.
That was
to,
near Grossmont. Or was that near?
No, Palomar is like in Escondido.
Escondido.
Yeah,
Yeah,
San Marcos area.
Okay,
Yeah.
San Marcos.
Yeah,
Marcos.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then went back to the University of Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and it just school wasn't my thing, bro. Just was hard to get through that.
Yeah.
So ended up staying out in Tucson for like 7 years.
You did.
Yeah,
What are you doing out there?
fucking around.
Really?
Just fucking around.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
When did? Because I want to get your art eventually. I mean, like, can I display some?
Go
of
for it, bro.
I mean, this is just beautiful stuff. I mean, Randy, you getting this? Yep. I mean, I knew I mean, as kids, we dabbled in it a little.
Yeah,
right?
Anthony did.
Yeah,
Anthony
yeah,
was really good. He was good at everything.
But I mean, because you've actually really advanced in.
Yeah,
this
quite a
is
bit.
Really impressive stuff.
Thank
and
you.
I love the fact that you do a lot of the stuff. You brought up a good, but we never grew up.
No.
I mean, look, right?
Bro, dude, like if you look at like I there was a breaking point like I look at Jim Gassetti and I remember seeing him with
he's a
his wedding.
millionaire.
What?
He's probably a millionaire.
Oh yeah, I think he is.
Yeah,
yeah. And Joe On, like those guys, or even like Steve Bourgeois, like he's
like
a family.
He was a firefighter.
He's a family man out in
Yeah.
Colorado, still doing good. He's still shout out Steve Bourgeois
yeah.
if you watch this, man. Aces. Kasner is still a kid. He's a teacher, like out in overseas, like in Japan.
I always love Steve Kasner.
Yeah, he's a good dude, living the dream out
Dusty
there.
Brazil is a real estate agent.
He hits me up every once in a while.
You remember Dusty?
Yeah.
Shout out to Dusty Brazil.
Shout out to Dusty. He hits me
Do
up
you
every
know?
once in a while.
Do you remember
Paul Rudin?
Artesian?
Oh, it's Artesian? Yeah, that ended up being a place for a while too.
Hold up. So we partied at several different places. Old Coach Road.
Yes.
Now that's filled with houses. You know that. That's what. someone told me.
Well, that's it's where like LaDainian Tomlinson lives.
Yeah.
Like,
So
those
so
kind of
back
guys.
then, the way we did it, we would find. So one of us would have a fake ID. Right.
Yeah.
Sean had one,
Yeah, Sean. Yeah.
and there was a liquor store near his part,
Yeah.
like
PQ somewhere.
or
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
like near the other side of Poway.
Yeah.
But we would find a dirt road, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
We'd find a dirt road, get as many 40 ounces,
Yeah.
and we would
Just stand there and drink.
Just drink.
Just drink. Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Yeah. No house party. Just stand around and drink in dirt lots or whatever we could find.
Yeah, but I should be dead right now with Paul Rudrick.
Mm-hmm.
Paul was a surfer.
Mm-hmm. Slap the lip, bro.
Yeah,
Slap the lip, bro. Slap the lip, Paul. Slap the lip, bro.
Yeah, like he talked like that. But keep in mind, in high school, there was like it was like your typical like different sections. There's the surfer corner, the jocks, the freshmen. You know what I mean? It was like that.
Yeah.
He was a part of more of the surfing crowd.
Yeah, he was.
But I don't know if you remember this. I was into. I'm embarrassed to say it now because I've interviewed surfers on here, like legit, like pro, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was in. Remember my boogie boarding?
Oh no! Yeah. You guys were way into that on 19th Street, Del Mar. Dude, we had we would go like roll deep over to Del Mar, man.
Oh yeah.
Like convoys of people.
Why is it? Is it Poway tradition? Because it was just.
It was.
The rule was just laid upon us when we were in junior high. Like when you get into high school, in Del Mar, you could only go here.
That's it. 19th Street was the only place
that
kids from Poway could go. There's hundreds of other streets.
But
and
no,
the beach is huge, but that's it.
That was our designated area.
Yeah.
So anyway, we were going to the beach. Artesian was a shortcut back then.
Yeah. Was.
You know, going through
Oh, yeah.
Karma Mountain,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you would cut
yeah,
through.
Yeah.
And do you remember my dad had a white van with there was no other seat. It was just like the driving seat was in there. It was for his clothes. It was like a white Toyota standard, like just like a van. I don't know if you remember, but I remember it.
Yeah.
And me and Paul were in there, and then we're driving, and he goes, "Dude, do some fishtails, bro." He was like, "Do some fishtails," and then I go, "Dude," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Go for it, dude. Get fucking gnarly, dude." And so I just start speeding up on the accelerator, and I just went, and I start doing fishtails.
Oh God!
And this is a dirt road. I mean, barbed wire fences
On both sides, yeah.
on both sides.
Yes.
Dude, I caught an edge. The van, the van, like did a whole. It rolled.
Rolled.
Yeah, and then it ended up on one of the sides where I was on top and he was at the bottom. And then I just remember like, not a scratch on us. We could have died.
You guys got lucky,
And I
man.
just remember him going, "Dude, that was gnarly, dude."
Totally.
Gnarly to the max, dude. And I was just like, dude, like, and I just remember, there's no one around, but it was like a tow truck just happened to drive and it looked like one of Jesus's disciples. Like it was just a godsend that this fucking dude happened to drive by, and we were like fucked up.
Dude, that's how it works, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, you're watched after. You know that, right? I've had you in the car before, where we've been coming out. I can't remember either. We were running from something, and we were in the Blazer. I think it was just you and I were in there, and you were in the front seat, and we pulled out, and we were over in Rancho. Oh, this is in high school,
Okay,
or maybe I was
see.
back from school.
Yeah.
And we've spun that thing like all the way around, and like we were stopped like backwards in the middle of the street. I'd done something really stupid, but I mean it was like a really close call, and you were like, "Bro, we should be dead right now, bro. We should be dead." I was like, "Fuck, yeah, dude." Like someone's watching out for him, man. So I like hanging around him.
Yeah.
Anything dangerous, go out with this guy.
Well, you know,
You'll survive.
we've been through a lot. I didn't even get to this. What about this? There was a time after high school we kind of got into a raves kind of a scene.
I got into a rave kind of scene for like 8 years deep.
So shout out to
Nooksy.
shout out to Justin Oshlag
Shout out Justin Oshlag.
for that. I mean, let's talk about that. Like, how the hell did we get into the scene?
Dude, it was literally. Do you remember? So Nooksy and Justin lived with Steve Kasner, Bourgeois, and
In Mira Mesa?
yeah, Mira Mesa, yeah, in that house on the hill, right?
Yeah.
Kind of cool house.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good
I was
parties.
impressed. I'm like, oh, they have their own house now.
You were a dirty little man, dude. You watched me have sex in that house.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't getting it myself.
No,
I was
just funny.
of course, I was a voyeur.
So,
Of course.
So, but Justin lived there, and Nooksy took me and Justin to a rave, and then that was like it. I was hooked on those beats, man.
Yeah, they got into the records, and not only
Yeah.
that, the drugs.
Oh yeah, the drugs.
I just remember being in that house on like a head full of acid
Dude, the
in
drugs.
one of their rooms, and me just tripping out, like looking at the ceiling. And
Yeah.
just tripping out.
Did you do mushrooms with us
I
over
did
Bourgeois?
LSD. I did all
Yeah.
kinds of
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we even went to a couple of LA raves even back then, driving out.
Was Sean Navarro?
Yeah,
yeah,
you,
yeah,
me, and Sean or Larry.
Yeah.
Or, you remember his brother Larry?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
He was a little hardcore. Devo.
Oh yeah.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, they were.
He was out there on acid, man.
Yeah, he was into b-boying. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was a b-boy. Yeah. And then at a rave, like, do you remember Distillery?
Yeah.
That club in Escondido.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would just be going there.
Do you remember Nooksy threw his own raves in
did?
Yeah, the Poway. He had one at the Poway ice rink up on the hill, and then he had one at the roller rink in Escondido. What? Dude, we went for years, bro. Like, we just kept going. I even took Joe On and Jim Gassetti to one over in Coachella before it was Coachella.
Were
It
they
was-
doing acid?
No, they were hiding in a tent. They went to sleep, and we all just stayed up, like partied all
Oh, yeah,
night. You
'cause
know.
you guys were probably candy flipping.
Oh,
and-
whatever we could find get our hands on,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And they came out in the morning. They were like, "Can we go home?"
I just remember one DJ that comes to mind is like Simply Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah, do you remember?
Get the fuck out, man. Yeah.
I just remember like there's different like in the rave culture. There's different genres even
Yes,
in that.
yeah.
But I remember I love electro breakbeats.
Yeah, dude, you
Yeah.
got it, man. Hey,
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
you.
yeah,
I just
Do you
found.
remember that?
Yeah, I looked.
And-
I found him again. Simply Jeff, and I started like listening to his stuff like on YouTube and stuff, just listening to his old beats
Yeah, but I
and stuff.
just remember back then I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. And then later I got into like DJ Shadow and
Yeah,
all that
DJ
stuff.
Shadow
But I just
stuff,
remember
yeah.
back then because those guys were getting vinyl. I just remember at their houses they would have turntables set up.
Yeah.
Everyone would be dosing and yeah. When did we? But you know, some of them got in trouble later. I think didn't Hoshlock get in trouble or?
Yeah. He got in so much trouble. I got in trouble with him, dude. He and I went down.
Can we talk about
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we
yeah, what
we went
happened?
down a quick.
So that there's a lesson to be learned.
There's a
kids.
lesson to
Stay
be
away
learned.
from-
Stay away from meth.
or stay. Not only that, stay away from drugs.
Stay away from drugs.
stay away
period.
from drugs.
Just stay away from them.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that
tell
was
me-
just a rough patch. It was about 10 years ago. Justin and I always hung out, and that like Justin, he always had a house and cars and stuff like that. But he just eventually kind of lost it all, like gambling, drugs, things like that. Damn. Yeah, it sucked. But he and I had a healthy stint together, and he ended up, doing some time for like 3 years.
What?
Yeah.
That breaks my heart because
Dude,
you-
breaks
wait,
everyone's
hold
heart.
up, but you said Justin Hoshlock, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but we grew up with him since Painted Rock Elementary School. Too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like he was in like second grade.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
With
He-
us,
we-
like
yeah,
all of us.
yeah.
You, me,
Yeah,
Anthony,
yeah,
Brian,
yeah,
Neat,
yeah,
Brian
yeah,
Neats.
yeah. Well, Justin's his parents still live next door to Anthony and the
Have you-
Nietzsches. Boom, boom, boom.
How do we locate Anthony Lee?
He's out there. He's probably listening.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I don't know because we lost the last time I saw him. I was living in Echo Park, Silver Lake area, and him and Navarro they drove out to come check me out. But his life drastically changed.
He did. He's got kids, right?
He's got a son. He had a son back then.
But yeah. So Navarro, I don't know. He's on. He'll pop up on social media every once in a while. But
Yeah.
Anthony Lee would be a fun one to get in.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. He
Yeah.
was the thing about him. He was like ahead of his time too. Even like, not even we didn't even talk about fashion. Like the guy,
Dude.
he was a ladies' man. He was dressed the part. I mean,
Dude.
every clothing. I would get jealous. I'd be in his room going through his shit, and I'm like, where'd you
Dude,
get
I
this?
was
Where'd you-
white trying to dress like him.
I me too. Well, I was
Fuck.
Asian trying to be
God
dressed
damn.
like him.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I know.
I was like, where'd you get these shoes? Where'd you get? Do you remember the store called Behind the Post Office?
Yeah, kind of.
Downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
But I remember they brought me. It was like a graffiti kind of hip hop.
Yeah.
But the con art, they had like these cool con art shirts, and I
Yeah.
remember them. Like I didn't even know what to get. They got like even fashion. They were like ahead of their time.
Way
I
ahead.
was just like, they're like, oh, I'm getting this, and I'm just like, oh, I guess I'll get this. You know,
Dude,
him and Sean.
yeah. D'Anthony would have like I remember coming back like his senior year and like I was like I saw him in he had dyed his hair like orange or something and he had a Oakland Athletics jersey on with like khaki shorts and green fucking Vans that matched
Fila's
it.
or
I was
some
like,
shit.
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
God damn, that's a
yeah,
good look. And, like,
yeah.
and I was like, now I'm all J. Crew because I'm back east. I'm like, fuck, dude. What am I
But
wearing?
even back then, remember Gerbeau's? Like,
Yeah.
like he had every color like
Yeah.
Gerbeau. He had every color. You remember like in '92, it was like LA Gear, like the whole, the fucking Timberland kind of sporty sneaker
Yeah,
boot.
yeah.
Like, he had all those.
all of that,
Yeah.
man. Even his haircuts, everything he did, man.
Everything he did was just, he was just so cool. We didn't finish the Tom. Okay, hold up. I didn't want to
Go,
skip
whatever
around.
you want to.
When did you realize, oh, Tom made it? Going back to Blink 182 and Tom. Sorry, guys.
Dude, no. When I ran into Tom at Steve Bourgeois' Christmas party, and he was touring with Pennywise and all these other bands. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, you know. Like I don't know who those guys are really, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't really
only
into
on major record labels.
Yeah, I
know.
really didn't know who they were, and so but he was saying he was having a good time and he looked healthy and it was great. And then Enema of the State came out. I think that's their
I don't know. Is there the third, fourth?
That's their first album.
That was their first
I
album.
think it was the
Yeah,
one with
yeah.
like all the small things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Great song, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. And I remember seeing them on their video, and I was like, "Son of a bitch, hey!"
On MTV.
On MTV, yeah.
So MTV for us back then, before internet radio, before record stores, before any of this,
yeah,
MTV was the only way you got your music.
Yeah.
It was like you heard it first from MTV. It was a show, a network on television.
yeah.
Music television.
It was called music television.
It was called music television. They would break all the music videos. They'd have little genre like the Cutting Edge, where it was
Yeah.
like mostly alternative rock. They had Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony every day at 4:30 would go.
Oh,
to
Yo
his,
MTV Raps.
Yeah, we
for
would
sure.
go to
Yeah,
his
yeah,
house
yeah.
and watch it.
Yeah.
But I just remember. Okay, so now I'm gonna add to the story.
Sure.
When I was at Arizona State, Jimmy and Glenn came to visit me when I lived in a small ass dorm room.
Oh, I remember that dorm room.
No, this was even smaller. You went to Saguaro. This is the Ocotillo one. This is the one the size of my bathroom. And I remember they were all like, we're all shacked up in this. And then, but I remember they had they had CDs of Blink 182. And
Oh.
they went, hey, Steve, look. It had the one with the cat on it. I think that was
the
the first
Cheshire-
one.
That must have been their
whatever.
first one, yeah. The Cheshire Cat on it or something like that.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah, the
yeah,
cat. The cat. Just a cat on
the
it. Yeah,
cover,
yeah.
But I remember seeing that. I go, what's this? They go, it's Tom, bro. I go, what?
Yeah.
He's a rock star. Yeah, I'm like, he's a rock star. I'm like, what? He's on MTV, bro.
He's like, he was on, not only on MTV, but he was on the Kids Teen Choice Awards. Like, he
Wait,
did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did all those. Like, he was on the MTV Awards. Like, they really hit it big. And you know what?
How did they even get around? I'm just confused because like let's describe where we're from.
We're from
Poway is
Poway.
a community in North County, a smaller community.
Very small. It's tiny.
There is no
How we ever survived there?
The only other band reminiscent, Unwritten Law.
Unwritten
That
Law
was the only other band, and they were on a smaller, not as big as what Blink became.
or Dishwater.
All right. Or Jewel. I know Jewel has history around Poway too. We don't have to get into Jewel. But you remember, you know those stories of Jewel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of it blew my mind. Like, what the fuck? Like, because that was, I think, out of the history of Poway, he's the big. I mean,
I think so. Yeah, there's nothing else like him that came out of there. You know what had happened is when he went to RB High and he met the other guys. That's when that happened.
wait, he transferred?
Yeah, when that school split, he was one of the people that went. He transferred over there.
You know what my cousin said, Eddie? He was like, all the girls went to RB. Why'd you guys stay at Poway? Not that it would have affected me because I was going to Christian camps.
It was true. I mean,
everything.
they took a lot from us.
But he said, shout out to Eddie,
Specifically?
he's like, dude, RB, that's where. Yeah, so he went to RB, Rancho Bernardo.
Mm,
Yeah. Do you remember Rancho Arbolitos Tennis Country Club?
no.
It was near, Pomerado Road.
Yeah.
You remember that Little Caesars Pizza? There was an Albertsons. There's a Penguins Yogurt shop.
Yeah.
That's where Tom lived. And
Yeah.
You remember?
I've been to his house. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been to his house.
Yeah.
It was near the tennis court or the country club.
Yeah.
But I remember, this moment where he's like, meet me out front. Albertsons will skate the red curbs. Because he skated even back then.
Mm-hmm.
He was friends with Rich Salo,
Yeah.
Dan Rogers, who was pro. And we were skating the curb. And he's like, hey, you want to come over after? And I went over to his house. I don't know if you know this, but, dude, he was highly, like, his mom, and, like, it was just his mom and him and, Sean Kitchen. But they're really into religion. And I remember, I think we ate dinner, but before that, like, she was speaking in tongues on my head.
Get the fuck
She
out.
was like, oh, I was tripping out. Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh shit, like, Tom's family is like on some.
Well, Tom is you can hear him like on Coast to Coast.
You know,
Like,
he
he
got
goes
into super into UFOs.
He's really into that stuff, and not in a bad way. Like, he's just really into that.
When did he wasn't like that in high school though, right?
Well, he's always, you're always going to be a little off, and then once you have like the amount of success he had, and did Angels and Airwaves. Like,
we didn't even throw that in.
No,
there.
he came up with his own successful group after that, and was like, well, I mean, it's a success.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how you look at it, Angels and Airwaves was a success, and so he can kind of kick back and do what he wants now. And like, shit,
Doesn't
man.
he have like a nonprofit to the Stars Academy or something like that?
Could be. I don't know.
I mean, I saw him on Joe Rogan. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. So Tom,
Hey, Tom.
if you're watching this, we remember you as
We love you, bro.
from our childhood. I know we're older now, but how cool would it be if Tom came?
It'd be
Tom,
great,
you're always
Tom.
welcome here. We would love to have you. We're gonna get into your artwork next. Shout out to Blink 182.
Blink 182.
Listen to their stuff. Dude, I'm highly impressed. Like, let's go back, because this is the main. I wanted to catch up with you, obviously, because you're like family.
Yeah.
But when did you really get into art the way it is now? I mean, look how. I mean, you've come a long way here.
So what happened was I got sober.
Really?
Yeah, I had a judge that sat me down.
Because I'm sober too.
Oh, that's it.
Oh. Okay.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk
Okay.
later.
Okay. We'll talk later.
Bill.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I had a judge suggest to me that I go to rehab or I go to jail, and I was like, "Whoa, rehab sounds great, my friend." So
Was this a DUI? Like, what led to this? You don't have to. I mean,
Bro.
I don't want to. I don't want you to incriminate
no,
yourself.
it's I had a rough spell for about 11 months, and I was only self-harming.
You're on a bender.
Oh yeah, super bender, and I kept getting picked up, but it was only self-harm, not hurting anyone else besides, family and things like that.
yeah.
I wasn't really, going down that, like, I wasn't, robbing, stealing, or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was just on a fuck everyone. But the cops, would gently come and get me all the time, and then I'd bond out, bail out. Took me years to pay
This
that
is in
off.
Poway.
All over San Diego.
All over San Diego.
And so that went on for about a year, but then once I sobered up, got working again, reconnected with my family, things started going well, and I started doing art again, and I worked for, you remember Bill Shear?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Shout out to Bill Shear. I just remember the guy like playing basketball. all the
dude, Bill
time.
Shear is a mad scientist, bro.
Right. I mean,
Bro, he was
I just
so
remember I
freaking-
always got along with Bill Shear.
He is so far ahead of
Bill
everyone.
Lundy too.
Bill Lundy.
He's another big
That's
one.
the big one. That's
the
the big one.
other big one.
And Charlie Hoffman.
Charlie
even
Hoffman, but
bigger.
let me stick to Bill.
Yep.
Bill Lundy, PGA,
PGA, yeah.
professional golfer.
Yep.
All right, continue.
So I worked for Bill Shear for a couple years. He gave me a job
Yeah.
and managed one of his offices, and they let me put up art in there.
Yeah.
Just fill up their walls. And I did like my first art show in San Diego, and one of the artists there gave me a phone call like the next week, and said, "Hey, do you want to join me in my booth and at San Diego Comic-Con?" So I went from nothing to the largest scale convention for artwork that I do in the world, like overnight.
Just meeting the right person.
Meeting the right people, being at the right place at the right time. But that's all that plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know
Right,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's just-
you're
it's
speaking
just-
upon like the spiritual.
Yeah, just
like,
just doing the right
a
things.
spiritual
and
plan.
Yes, and
Yeah,
just
doing the right thing.
Yeah, and that shit will just unfold, right?
Yeah.
So and it just keeps unfolding. I have a lot of success. I've I work with a couple of the best artists in the business. So
Crazy.
everything they know, I know, and like they are very they're open to teach me. I have a manager now that takes care of my shout out to the Dog and Dragon. What's up, guys? I got
Keep
shout
going.
outs.
I know. I love it.
I got
more.
shout-outs. I got
more.
shout-outs. Shout out Neri. Shout out Rob Pryor, Naomi. Shout out Cam. Shout
this
out
too.
Rob Pryor Studios, the Dog and Dragon, Heather Edwards, Caitlin, and my manager who takes care of all my stuff, Alexander.
It's
Thanks,
beautiful. I mean, how long? What the process of improving an art? Like, can you kind of talk upon that?
guys. Honestly,
Like, because this is really detailed shit you're doing now.
yeah, I went from like
with different
acrylic-
mediums. And
Yeah,
stuff,
so I went from acrylic work using like canvases, and I'm not super good at it, so I gotta hide it. So like, it just kind of like
no,
just
it's all
kind of
good.
hide it.
Yeah.
And so Rob Pryor taught me how to use a medium called gouache, which is watercolor based, and so and it's just on paper. And so I paint, like, the paintings are, roughly like, I don't know, man, size of this area behind you.
Yeah.
They're really big. And I get to paint Star Wars. I get to paint anime. I get to paint everything that I like to paint. I get to paint it. I'm working on cars now. We're doing a
Fucking
SEMA
awesome,
car
dude.
show
I'm so
out in Las
happy for
Vegas.
you. This is great shit.
Yeah,
man.
it's
Would you say your sobriety has something to do with this as well?
fuck yeah, bro.
Because, I mean, I'm just gonna add to your good news. It's like when I chose to get sober, like, dude, I met Money Mark and Dave Cho. Bob brought me to this podcast. We ended up touring. And you know how much of a Beastie Boys fan I am. And I grew up with it, and then to end up doing music with like a dude in their band.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
let's just like go back to you really quick, and I really just want to.
No, this
tell
is going
you
back to
how-
my sobriety though. Like, I
Yeah.
have 12 years for me. I mean, I've relapsed after 2.
But you have how many years do you have?
12.
12. Okay, I have 7. I relapsed after 1 on weed.
Yeah,
And my
me too.
My sponsor was like,
I relapsed after 2 off weed when I lived in the
Did
other.
you start
apartment.
over?
Well, I was out there. I was on a bender for a couple months, but then this is the thing about sobriety is even someone could have been, because my brother tried for years, like, dude, you gotta get sober, dude, but it's like, unless that's a personal, like, you need that moment of clarity where you're just sick of living that way. I was sick of like throwing up and sick of being hungover. I was just sick of all that. And then my decisions that, like, I was making some bad choices. You know?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. You want to add on to that?
Well, yes. I mean, everything that once I got sober, everything just started working the right direction. All my dreams, everything I wanted to do, actually happened. Like everything, like in not in the doses where you're like, up here,
Yeah,
but everything, like
everyone
like,
has their own.
yeah, like
kind of
like all my
experience,
dreams were answered, right? And so now I just got to build on those things and make them bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always told you this, that how proud I was of what you've done, with your career in such a hard field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, content is never ending as well.
Right,
so.
but that's
the thing is,
that's this. But your music, you
Oh,
never
dude.
gave up on your music, and that blew me away.
No.
I remember you were writing constantly. When I come up to see you up at ASU, you had your notes out.
Even back then.
Yeah, you were just scribbling, trying to get rhymes out. And to see that you're still doing that, and you're in a successful band.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a hiatus right now, but like, look, we toured East Coast, West Coast, Canada. We opened up for Deltron. We opened up for fucking Diane. We did some cool shit. Did a
Yeah.
thing in like all these things
Sober.
are a direct result.
Sober.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
because if I wasn't sober, then my brother wouldn't have brought me to that podcast. If I wasn't sober, then I wouldn't have shown up to go to Big Bear to what became this album, the Monchi album. Recorded that with Dave and Mark and the rest of the bandmates. There are so many instances as far as life events where I'm just like, oh, because this is what it happens when you get sober. At least what I've been taught is you show up. That's why now it makes sense, because you showed up early today. Usually people are late, but it's like, oh, Scott's here like 10 minutes early. But so they taught me to not only show up, but to stay out of the results.
Yeah.
So it's basically an action-oriented kind of program.
It is. I
know what I'm saying?
I like that you
Yeah.
get this out of that. I do the
Yeah.
same thing. I don't beat that book.
Yeah.
And I don't hit a ton of meetings all the time.
Me neither, dude.
But I live what they say. You know, I live how you're supposed to live that way, but it's action oriented, and if you just
You can't think your way out of the box. You know, as they say, you can't think your way out. You have to like
but
really,
showing up. But
you have to show up.
But all you do
but
is
that's
show
huge.
up. But you can do that now, sober. Whatever the consequences of showing up, whatever comes of that of you showing up.
Again, this is going back to staying out of the results. That's not what our job is. Our job only is just to show up and be clear-headed, and whatever happens. But look, I mean, this could transfer over to any scenario. Like, let's say you had a hangover, but then the next day you had a meeting that could have possibly turned into a great career or something, let's say.
Yeah.
But then you're throwing up, you have diarrhea, and you're like, oh, I'm not showing up, bro.
Yeah.
You just missed out on life.
You could have just
missed out on life right
period.
there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is not saying once you get sober, everything's going to be like rainbow sprinkles and fucking
But you can
sunrise.
handle it.
But not only that, I don't have a drug or alcohol to see. What I realized through sobriety is alcohol and drugs. That wasn't my problem. That was my solution. Whenever I felt uncomfortable, discontent, irritable, give me that beer, dude. Oh, give me that Heineken. Give me that blunt.
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once for me that stopped working, then I'm like, because I know with your journey, I know damn well you went through this, where the first couple months were hard. For me, it was.
Yeah.
I was hitting 1, 2, 3 meetings a day.
Oh, yeah.
And then between the meetings, I was at a Starbucks. I was drinking coffee with other people. All right, let's go to this other midnight meeting. Like, I needed that kind of structure at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then through that process, look, it's abnormal for a human not to feel things. So what are you doing when you're taking drugs and alcohol? You're basically cheating that.
Yeah, you're
cheating the system, kind of. You're like not feeling, you're not feeling that pain that you would normally need to feel to grow as a person. And that's why, in a way, you're like, oh, we never grow up. But then we never even brought up the fact that, well, of course, like, we're loaded half the time. More than half the time.
Look at through our 20s when a lot and I go back to like people like Gussetti and Joanne and them through their 20s.
He was doing business meetings.
They just went a whole different route, and for me, I was just like, let's keep the party going, right?
Oh,
let's keep it going. I'll have a job. I'll have a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
But I will party all night and then go to that job still high on something,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just a mess.
So, dude, that trips me out. I didn't know the extent. I never asked, but dude, like, that really makes me happy that you decided to do that. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was a judge that
I know,
helped me,
but maybe that needed to. That's my point. Some things need to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you need to reach your quote unquote bottom.
Yeah.
Everyone's bottom's different. To get to the point where you make that life changing decision, that conscious decision to be like, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
I like this side.
Oh,
This side's just a whole nother trip, bro.
I mean, look at the colors. I mean, this is just, this is like whatever you're going through is vibrating on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The palette here.
It wouldn't happen if it wasn't.
I know
sobriety.
it wouldn't. It could, but it wouldn't be as good as what you're doing now.
No, I have stuff from when I was loaded doing that stuff and thinking I was gonna be like this artist. The dreams were there, right? The dreams were there, but actually. Like showing up is the craziest thing. Like,
it's huge.
If you're not showing up, you miss those opportunities.
Oh,
whether
it's huge.
Whether you know it or not,
Yeah, it's huge. Not only that, sometimes in life, like, you need to let go of shit. You can't have an attachment to shit. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, there was a time before I went to that podcast, before the band, and I was working at a sandwich shop, and this was me in my maybe I was in my 30s. I don't know. I was in my 30s, and I was working. I was washing dishes, and I was bagging meat, and I was making milkshakes, and just for the mere fact that, and I gave up. This is what happened. I did one last solo EP called Dirt Flame Pencil. I'm throwing the pencil into the flame. I'm done with it, and I gave up on music, and I did give up. I'm like, I'm done with this. No one's buying my shit. No one even cares. No one knows you know what I mean? And so, but this is what happened. When I consciously made that decision where I'm like, all right, universe, because I believe in God. I don't want to label it. But I'm like, all right, I'm letting that go. You know, I'm in my 30s, like, you know, whatever. I'm letting it go. But guess what happened? By me closing that door, all this shit opened up. Me meeting all these people and touring and recording like a real record, you know, where they put it on vinyl. And so it basically, my point, this is like, there's a theme to this. It's like sometimes in life you got to like let things go completely. A new door might open up, my friend, you know, like that.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, the way it happened, I couldn't have planned that.
Nope.
Because like us as addicts and shit, like we want to like hold on to shit and be like, no, it's got to be fucking this way. It's this album. It's this fucking artwork. This is what's got to sell.
Yeah.
And then that's it. But then what I'm saying is like, no, you have to let that completely go. And I give up. But look what happened.
Boom.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what happens all the time in this. But I'm not saying your life becomes perfect. But guess what? We now at least have tools where I don't have to rely on a drug or a substance to get through that.
Dude,
I could
you
like.
and I are on the same.
I
fucking
know.
page, bro.
I have to call people. Like, let's say, because dude, it's not like, look, I'm an alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
I like doing other things, right? I can't do any of it, but I still have urges. Like, I'll be at Ralph's, and if I want a cold, like they have this cold Coca-Cola, you could get the Mexican Coke at the end of the liquor aisle. Yeah. You don't think sometimes I walk by the liquor aisle and I'm looking at a cold Corona, you know?
Yeah.
I'll like look and be like, oh.
Corona?
Yeah, or
No,
whatever.
No,
or
you
whatever.
said Corona.
I said Corona, but why does that?
For some, that was my drink of choice. The oddest thing in the world. Who knows why?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure we drink plenty together. Mickey's, whatever. Or Heineken. Yeah. But, you know, my point being is, and not only that, dude, you know how much we love weed. Mm. I love weed.
I love weed.
And now we're in a time where I could go right near 7-Eleven and there's a dispensary and I could get, do you know how long you been sober?
It's 8 years, so 7, but then 8. So I just had my 7th year. I had to skip a year because I took a hit off the joint.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. But weed's changed. What do you say?
Yeah.
From I mean, okay. Let me rephrase. Weed's changed since we were kids, right? Or high school.
Oh yeah.
A great
deal. It's pharmaceutical now, man. That's
what I'm saying.
I wouldn't be able
to handle it. So that's even more of a temptation. Like I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, they got cookies now, dude. They got pineapple flavor and all this, but I just can't.
You can't. You know yourself, right? Yeah.
Cause, dude, you know how I am. It's kind of like, it's like getting a burger without the cheese. Like I like cheeseburgers. It's like beer, and weed. Like a cheeseburger to me. I can't just have the beef patty. I need the cheese. You know. So if I do one, like that's how I relapsed. I relapsed fucking either on I smoked a joint first, but then I'm like, fuck it.
Let's have a beer.
Cause that's the thing. Our addiction doesn't leave us. It's like, dude, it's there still. Cause it lives in our mind. It's in our mind, right? Yeah. So once I had crossed that line, like, oh, I'm no longer sober. I just lost my sobriety. I just had the fuck it thought. I'm like, fuck it. Give me that Negro Modelo. I'm taking that to the head. Yeah. This is going back to the cheese. Like it's if I can't have one without the other.
But you and I speak the same language.
Oh, for sure.
My alcoholism is I didn't know I was an alcoholic until I realized that if I take a drink or if I get drunk, I drink to get drunk, right? I don't drink for the pleasure of it's just nice on my palate.
That's why I don't do O'Doul's,
right?
I know I don't do the O'Doul shit.
I drink to get drunk. What happens when I get drunk? I want other stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's that cycle. And I was like, oh, I am an alcoholic. Oh shit, that's why I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, like a person that's not an alcoholic never questions it. They could have a glass of wine with their Italian dinner.
Dude, what the fuck is a glass of wine? They need 2 bottles.
They won't even finish the glass of wine. They'll be like, oh, this is a great, pleasant dinner. With me, it's just like, no, I'm not.
Up, man.
Not only that, there are times when I already drank at the bars. I already drank pints and pints and pints of beers, and then I'm like, last call. No, I need more. Like this is after 2, whatever, and I'm like, no, I need more. That's not normal, dude.
No.
That's not like, oh, you having a glass of wine with dinner. That's like, oh, you want to get like fucked up. And then through that, now you want a line of Coke, and then or you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
or
no,
you
no,
want
you're right.
who's got shrooms,
Yeah.
you know. So it just ends up like, oh man, it flew by, huh? I knew it'd fly by with you.
It was good.
You're always welcome too. But
Thank you
hold up,
so much.
No, we're not done yet. I want to go back to. I really want to shine light on your art.
Thank you.
How do people best support you right now through your artistic endeavors?
Well, I do. So I'll just plug myself. You can go to on Instagram, Scott Hattox Artwork.
Can you spell that out? The Hattox, the Hattox part.
SCOTTHATTOX Artwork.
Double T's.
Double T's. And you can go to scotthattoxart.com to purchase things. It's a well-designed website. But you can always DM me if you're interested in your own work. And
yeah, how do they get pricing? Either just through Instagram?
Yeah, you'll see the pricing on scotthattoxart.com. But check this out. So on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I do live painting on Instagram.
I love your Insta lives, by the way.
It's kind of fun.
No, I love it. I love that you're doing. You have to do stuff like that, Scott. That's what I'm saying. You have to keep doing it.
You know Justin's brother Tyler?
Well, the redheaded.
Yeah.
The ginger.
Yeah.
Oh, love that kid.
Right. So he and I got really close, and during
I love Tyler
COVID,
Horslock.
Yeah,
I remember him.
COVID. Tyler, shout out.
Shout out to Tyler.
He's gonna watch this, so I know he is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I remember the young Horslock.
He spins music on a split screen with me.
He
so
had drum. You know what? No, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
I remember he was fucking with drum machines back then too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
he
what?
stuck with it.
That's what
He
I'm saying.
stayed with
But
it.
I remember that because Sean was like, "Oh, I gotta stop by Horslock." What are you going there for?
Tyler.
He's like, "Yeah, well, Tyler's got this drum machine, this 808 thing. I'm gonna borrow." I'm like, "He does that?"
He's an engineer.
That's what. But this was back in the day. Like he was younger than how many? He was a lot younger.
He's like 3 years younger than us.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But anyways, he comes on and we do music and live painting. So if you want to check out and see what it's all about, check it out.
What else? Website or anything?
Yeah, scotthattoxart.com.
Can you plug your Instagram as well?
It's Scott Hattox Artwork, at Scott Hattox Artwork. And that's about it.
That flew by, man. We could have talked another 5 hours, but like I said, you know what? For me, it's more satisfying. Like I interview interesting people all the time, but dude, like with me and you though we have such a history because it's like that's like my childhood, dude.
Yeah.
Like you were there, like you remember my
we could
house.
do this for hours.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean,
We
but
could
do
just
you
keep
remember?
going.
I remember your pool. I
house.
even remember your pool. One last story. I remember even. This is crazy. I remember you had a pool party. This is when we
Molly
were
Sanders?
older. No.
Oh.
But I remember I was drinking Bud Lights at your house, your old school house.
Yeah, Sagewood.
And your mom said something. She goes, your face is getting red there. Or said something to that effect. But I remember that. But I remember but that was we were high school maybe or.
Possibly, yeah.
But I just remember she knows I'm
Yeah.
She allowed it.
Yeah.
But
she knew. Yeah.
so it started back then. I mean, I'm just saying.
Dude,
we're sober now, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That type of stuff started probably before we even knew it.
Dude, but do you know that I didn't drink until I was 18? I drove you guys around. Like every time I was driving, I was a sober driver.
That's
Isn't that
right.
weird?
Yeah, I remember. No, you're right.
Yeah. We go to TJ, right?
Okay.
Like I would drive everyone down there.
Yeah, I
and then
just
drive
remember
back.
getting so fucked up down there. Yeah. All right, we don't have to get it.
We won't get into
We'll
it
end it.
anymore, folks.
We'll end it. Yeah, we'll end it. We'll end it soon.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So, dude, it was a pleasure, dude.
Yeah.
We're gonna shoot the shit a little after.
Yeah.
So my announcements, we do have. I'm doing another podcast called Scissor Bros Podcast. Link will be in the YouTube description. I have a Patreon if you want to help support the platform. Patreon.com/Steebee Weebee. SteebeeWeebieShow.com. That's a website if you want to order any merch. Just know that the orders will be delayed a little bit because of COVID. SteebieWeebieBandcamp.com is where the music is. Check out Oh Rodeo Man. It's on my YouTube. My Instagram is QUANGOU, and I think that's it, brother.
One more thing.
Go ahead. I know things are.
No.
Go ahead.
This is super important. Kelly My wife, I love you.
Okay, that's good. That was sweet. Okay.
My buddy Skip is a trip, feeling blue like a crib. Framed for robbing a bank, letting loose from the hip. He really couldn't predict this script was so full of angst. Him and Henry were woodpeckers, did a song that dance at big. Oh, rodeo man in the west, you can. You're the best on the land to bless the sands. To the bull with your hand, oh Skip, you can. Get that fucking bull and pull on that rope. Feeling still crazy, maintaining against the grain. Making me wanna get in a plane. The pain inside my brain never ends sustained. I'm down for the count on the ground freight train. Living today, don't give it away. They're preaching the praise, the raise. Shining it down to mightiest crowns, the finest of frowns delayed. Skippy's afraid, he feels betrayed. Live this way, can deal with shade. A spade is a spade, he made the grade. Displayed in a charade of pain. I am not a man, I am an animal, a male. I live by maritime, the law of water, about to sail. Where my mother had me, I slipped out of her canal. What you call a sailing ship is named after a female. Oh, you're a cheater with a pen. We're friends to ink your book away. A ghost that writes your look today. I'm going down in the valley to escape disgrace from the city that's aflame, making room for a lane. Cause I'm sick of the strain the town inflicts. What remains is a piece of my own sanity that drips in my brain. I'm a son of a gun that's on the run, here to get me some, chewing on some gum. Let the kingdom come. I'm a rebel with crumbs, and I settle in slums, but my metal will stun. How do you go? Would you bow with the bowler in a